Hi everyone. In the last video we discussed why we chose solving a real-world problem on the Kaggle platform for learning deep learning. In this video we are going to look at the 4 different steps for solving most of the deep learning problems. The first step is identifying the data for the problem that you're trying to solve. Let's say for example you want to identify whether a particular lungs has got a symptom of a coronavirus or COVID. You have to identify the right data, the training data and the label data set. And then second step is you need a model. What is a model? In most of the engineering terms, let's see model as a function which takes some input and generates some output. In this case, the model takes all our images as the input and it generates an output saying whether this particular image has got corona or not. So the third thing is how do you train a model? In general, most of the models do not have any idea about the particular use case that we're talking about. Say it can be as simple as identifying a dog versus cat, or identifying whether a particular text is toxic or not, or some other problem. Let's say for example you're building an application for self-driving car and you want to know whether you have to stop the car or continue the car based on a simple traffic signal, right? So you have to train the model for that particular task. So that's where the training loop comes. That's where the model is shown the target images that we prepared in the first step, and the feedback is provided to the model saying that, oh, you're actually wrong, you have to improve yourself. And there are different ways to improve it, which we'll be covering in the coming videos and coming lessons. And the fourth part is generating predictions on unseen data or new data. That is, you want to deploy a model at different places. This could be starting from very simple ones, like you generate a file. Let's say for example you're using Amazon platform to buy some groceries or buy some toys for your kid, or you want to watch a movie in Netflix, right? So these platforms take all your characteristics and generate a recommendations, probably once in a day or once in an hour or in different intervals. This could go into a database. These are called offline recommendations or offline predictions. This is one of the most simplest predictions that you can make. It can range from here to something that can happen in real time. Let's say the model has to be deployed on a car, self-driving car like Tesla, where the model has to identify whether it has to stop when it sees probably a pig approaching the road, or a deer walking by road, or a pedestrian crossing the road, or some kind of emergency. It has to know it has to stop, irrespective of whether the driver is in his full alert or not, right? And in this case the deployment is much more complex because you don't have very high-end hardware sitting on the car. You have limited processing power and you have the latency that has to be fraction of seconds much faster than what a human being can process. So these are the 4 key steps that any deep learning problem constitutes of, right? So let's look at each of these steps in much more detail.